Recording in progress.
It's is it? I don't want to sing just the two of us because that's hacky. It's also bringing up Will Smith because people will think of him when you sing that instead of singing that rap version in your head when you sing just the two of us. Do the one. Do you remember that one, Bobby? There was a one where Will Smith rapped just the two of us thing, but that was terrible.
That
But
was
there's the
about
better.
his bastard son that he doesn't acknowledge anymore, right?
Yes,
It
just the
wasn't
two of
about
us.
Jaden or Willow.
No, not those ones. The lucky one, the one that got away. Like the other one. The no, this is that. Think more about. Don't even think about the Austin Powers thing because that was fucking terrible too. When he's mini me and he's dancing around. I guess just think about the original black guy who sang it. I don't know who it was. You know, just the two, and he was all smooth and shit. You know, he just got
Sucking
really,
dick under bridges, just the
just the two
two
of
of
us.
us.
Like, that's kind of cool. I guess that's a song you and your pimp would sing. I don't know. I don't know about hookers that team up.
Hoping I don't get AIDS from these syringes, just the two of us.
Why is there two? Okay, but who are the two of in your songs? These are lonely people things.
It's me and my heroin addicted girlfriend.
Oh, because I was gonna say, are you at that point, Bobby, where you're so lonely that when you sing just the two of us, you can't imagine a thing two people do?
No, it's me and Michelle.
Michelle who?
I don't. I'm just making this character up as we go.
I know. I thought you were gonna say Obama. That would have been fun.
But that wouldn't be our podcast, would it? So it's me and Michelle.
What? Did you have a
Kwan.
good time with Michelle?
No.
Obama?
It's me and Michelle Kwan under
Oh.
the bridge.
What would that sound like?
No. That's where you come in. You get to play the second role.
Did you have shows this weekend?
I did. I had a show Thursday and I had a show Saturday.
Oh, with Gino, I saw you guys are like little girlfriends. You take pictures of each other and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do little Instagram fun, even though like in the background, you're like an actual couple where behind the scenes you're bickering, but in front of the camera you're in love.
That's the best part. Is literally as he was screaming at me on camera those 2 weeks behind the scenes, it was, "Hey, you want to do the spot this weekend?" It's the exact opposite.
Well, no,
And I don't know if you
and I are
noticed.
married. That's married shit, dude. That is fucking yelling and screaming. Then also going, hey, so is Saturday morning still cool to go to my parents' house? We
I
still
think-
got to go do the appearance.
What part of Italy is marriage? Because I think that's just an Italian thing.
Yeah.
That's how my dad's family were. Hey, fuck you too. All right, you coming in for dinner? Yeah,
What, you don't like dinner? I said I like dinner. I said it's fine.
we're good. I want no
By
beef.
the way, I'm gonna be controversial right there. You brought it up. Fuck Italians, man. I'm done. I'm just done with the obsession of Italian people. Not real people, but like I will not. Okay, people who don't follow me on Facebook wouldn't know this. For the last couple of weeks, I have been going down this rabbit hole of watching movies I've never seen before. There's a lot of movies that people think are the greatest movies of all time that I have just not seen. Sometimes because when I was younger, my mom wasn't like, "Oh, you're 7, you should see Rambo." The people will be like, "Well, why not? I don't know why I saw when I was 7." Well, you're a terrible guy. Like I don't know. I was very athletic, and also we were poor. You combine those two things. I was outside so much and so happy to be outside that I didn't go to the movies. We didn't have money. We had HBO for maybe like 4 months of my entire growing up. So there was no watching movies unless it made Channel 11. So I know a lot of Kung Fu theater and I know a lot of fucking movies that would have made it on TV much, much later. But if I went to the theater as a kid, it was a comedy or it was E.T. or Rocky. Like that was it. And that was like Rocky 3, Rocky 4. The first two, I was too young. I saw those later on. The first Rocky I saw was Rocky 3, which is crazy that I became such a Rocky fan because I hate Rocky 3 and I love Rocky 1 and 2. But I never got to watch these movies. And another thing my mom didn't have me watch was a lot of violence. Now we watched A-Team, and if it was TV, it was different.
Yeah.
It was TV, it was different because you could blow things up, but it was nobody died. But you know what I mean?
My household was pretty strict about violence and guns
Yeah.
and everything. I
We were-
remember,
and she-
speaking of the A-Team, I was in 5th grade and slept. We called it a camp out, where I slept on the couch and my dad slept on the other couch and the downstairs.
Yeah.
And woke up, and he woke up, and I was watching the A-Team on television, and he was like, "What the hell are you watching?" It's like, "It's the A-Team, it's TV Land," and he was like, "All right, we can watch it this time."
Yeah, and that was the thing. My dad would let us watch things. My mom didn't, but mostly my dad just watched sports anyway. So only once in a while would we watch something crazy. But my dad had a good sense of humor, but like also like mild different. So with my dad, we watched a lot of SCTV because that was we could find it. So I got to watch since Saturday Night Live. I watched great, tremendous Canadian improv guys doing stuff,
Oh, okay.
and we would we would make all those. Like I knew about Eugene Levy and all these and Rick Moranis and Ed Grimley character and all this weird shit that like Joe Flaherty and people like that people didn't know when I was younger that I knew about because we were watching that all the time. Or one of the first movies I went to see my dad was Three Amigos, which is a weird movie for a kid to go see. But me, my brother, and sister were all little and went and saw that because we watched Saturday Night Live with my dad on weekends because we'd stay up late and watch that. But I didn't get to watch these movies that everyone thinks is great. So every asshole who's like, my God, you've never seen The Godfather? Oh my God, you've never seen, Carlito's Way? You've never seen Taxi Driver? You've never seen Something with an Italian being annoying? And I'm like, no, mom didn't care for me to watch people slap their wives and be mean.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So when I got older, I also had no reason to watch it. And then also, everyone kept telling me I had to see it. So that was one of those, now I don't fucking want to.
Yeah, fuck you at that point, right?
But so then what? I see it, and then now I have to have a conversation with you telling me about it. Like I already know what The Godfather is. Enough assholes have said it forever to me for me to know every line, every stupid voice, all the stupid shit. I would be spoiled. You know what I mean?
It's one of those that's been parodied or satirized so much that, like, when you actually see it, it feels played out because all of those tropes have been adopted into other things too.
You're right, 100%. And I think that's part of the problem. So now when I watch, like the first mob movie I ever saw was Goodfellas. I did see Goodfellas. I saw that kind of when it came out. Not when it came out, like when it was on VHS. You know what I mean?
I saw a lot of those films my freshman year of college in a film class. And I remember
what did you think of
leaving
Goodfellas? Do you think it's the greatest fucking thing?
I remember leaving every Tuesday going, people in whatever decade we were learning about were fucking stupid.
Yeah.
All of the movies were terrible. The Graduate is a terrible movie.
Terrible movie.
The Goodfellas. I don't like anxiety movies, like where you know it's all going to fall apart. Like The Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, why? I get enough stress from my regular life. You know what I want to do if I want to feel a little anxiety? Just think about health insurance. I don't know if I have it.
Like I wasn't super paid attention. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't loved by my parents. I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, my parents would talk to us and give us some. My dad wasn't around all the time, but he gave us some support. My mom was very supportive when she could be. But she made sure we were always doing activities. Yes, I'm very attached to TV, but we watched TV with her. Like I watched tons and tons of TV because it was for family night, and also because we were so poor, there was like 2 rooms. You know what I mean? So like we have one TV. We're all watching this together. So we all got chances to watch things. If I wanted to watch, we had a second TV where I wanted to watch like wrestling on Saturday mornings. She would let me go for an hour or so and watch that in there. She didn't really want to watch it, but she understood I was watching. It was Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. It was very clean. It was,
Pat,
when I'm growing up.
Stop jerking off in the other room.
I mean, you see, I don't know anyone who has got a brother 2 years younger than him that could say they were jerking off in their room because we had the same room. I didn't jerk off till way later in life. You know what I mean? Like, it's like way later than most people did. So I'm making up for it now. Anyway. Sky's the limit and the limit's the sky. You know what I mean?
I started out sprinting and still have been sprinting.
What I'm saying, all the people that have like movie podcasts now, or the people that like break down every movie, every conversation is I know movies. A lot of it stems from that was either the relationship they had with their parents watching movies, or the opposite, where they watched that because nobody was paying attention to them and it was the only escape they had. I kind of get from that time. Movies now have this fast attention span because they know you're not going to be watching it in one shot because you're going to go watch other things, do other stuff. If you watch a movie made in the last 10 years, they don't build a plot. They don't do whatever. So I thought I was missing that. So I went back to watch these other movies and they don't build a plot. They just fucking don't know what to do with dialogue and they just stand there for a while. Al Pacino in the 70s just stands there a lot and goes,
hoo-ah!
That's later. The beginning is like, like everyone kept telling me you got to watch Dog Day Afternoon. Have you ever fucking seen Dog Day Afternoon?
No. And it's one of those movies where I'd be rooting for the wrong team.
What do you mean?
I'd be rooting for the cops.
Have you watched it?
No.
You can't root for the cops.
Why?
You can't root for anybody in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Because
I've never seen it.
Okay. Neither did I. And then people are like, I watched Taxi Driver, which I want to talk with you about because I know you like Taxi Driver, but like, I'm not mad at Taxi Driver. Out of all the movies I watched, I really enjoyed Taxi Driver, except for the ending. But everyone told me the ending was amazing, and I'm bothered by the ending. But I get why the ending happened.
And it was like the first one that had the ending kind of like that, right?
It was just too long.
Yeah.
Like literally one. I don't. If anyone says spoiler alert, you go fuck yourself forever. This movie's older than me, and I'm 47 years old. It literally is almost 50 years old. So fuck off.
Spoiler alert.
At the end, fuck you. At the end, once he goes in and he shoots Harvey Keitel. And by the way, nobody should tell me their favorite movie is a movie where it has a 12-and-a-half-year-old hooker. Okay, so that part was kind of threw me off because I was watching it going, Jodie Foster's young, and I'm staring at Sybil Shepherd going, that's not Jodie Foster. I'm like, wow, Sybil Shepherd really looked good when she was younger. She's always been a beautiful woman. I'm not saying she's not older, but she was striking from the beginning.
Yeah,
and I'm like, then I kept going, is that Al Franken? I'm like, no, that's Albert Brooks, you idiot. You just got your wrong Al. You fucking, I'm just profiling Jews. But as I'm watching this fucking thing, and I'm like, when is Jodie Foster? I'm like, the child hooker who's talking about sucking cock and got real close to sucking. What's his name's cock? I'm like, oh, I know it's a movie, but like, what are we doing? And I know in real life she wasn't 12 and a half, but she definitely wasn't 18.
The worst part is in real life, she actually had to suck the cock to get the role in the movie.
No, her family had money. Her mom had to suck cock for her to get that role. Like a good family did.
But back to Dog Day Afternoon.
No, I'm gay. My gay lover fucked a dog. Now he's got AIDS, and I gotta rob a bank to save him.
Don't spoil it. I wanted to get here, and I want to build because that's the holy shit. That movie's in the wrong time frame. That's what I was gonna say. Get to the end. So your favorite movie, there, Taxi Driver, right?
I don't. I'm not a huge taxi driver.
What do you? Oh no. Am I confusing that with you loving that song Taxi?
Yes, you are. That's why I was like, did I say at one point I was a Taxi Driver fan, and now I got to pretend like I really know this movie? No, I was confusing
with that fucking bullshit song you like by that shit guy, Harry Chapin.
Well, A, The Last American Poet. B,
there's a reason why it was last.
It was raining hard in Frisco. You put on Taxi and sequel, and you don't cry a little bit inside as an entertainer, Pat?
You understand? I watched that whole movie going, why the fuck does Bobby like this?
No way.
I want to enjoy it.
No way.
I want to enjoy this because Bobby's my friend and I want to know why. Like, and I'm fucking so mad now because it was that. I just realized it was that song.
In my defense, or like putting you at ease, the two songs combined are about 20 minutes of music, so it is. Well,
that's why I'm trying to break down the ending. Going, why isn't he more into this ending? Going to the other thing, like, oh, because he doesn't give a fuck on this movie. No. But like, once they shoot Harvey Keitel and then the 12-year-old, everyone else except for 12-year-old, and then they just pan out, dude. They just pan out for like 8 fucking minutes, and it's just like the longest fucking pan out ever. And they just show every cop and the lights and people just running into the scene, and you're waiting for some other thing to happen. And then you're waiting for the credits.
It's like when I cut a morning opening real quick too fast. I don't watch it before we play it, and it ends up being 10 minutes instead of a minute. And I'm like, oh.
When I used to watch In Hot Water religiously when it was on at 10 a.m., okay, I would get excited, and about 9, I used to be dumb, and about 9:50 tune in, and it'd be like coming out soon. And you just watch the compound media thing spin around and spin around. And then I started learning they don't start till like 10:10. So even then I would, at 10 o'clock, I would start it. And it's still for 10 or 15. I'm like, hey, you could play clips of that. You could do anything. I don't know what you could do. Throw something else up there. I'm just watching this thing spin. I know you can't, but I'm just saying in my head, go to the next thing or just put a black screen so I don't stare. I don't know. I want something. And then people would start tweeting with each other going like, is your thing also not working? Are they on? And everyone would yell, E-Rock, what the fuck? And they'd yell at him. He's not even there. Like, whatever. It was a whole thing. What I'm saying is they could have done something else. And I thought they'd go to the credits, but instead of going to the credits, they just went to this ending where now a slow adult is reading a letter to him about his 12-year-old being okay. And he reads the whole fucking letter, and they show you the letter. So not only are they showing you the words of the letter, but now a slow adult is just like, well, then she came back and she's fine now. Thank you so much for helping her not be a hooker anymore. We're real happy you didn't fuck her in the pussy. You're the best. Thanks. Iris's mom and dad, Mr. Iris's mom and dad. Listen, then he's driving around his cab, and he's supposed to be in a fucking coma, and he has a mohawk. But then all of a sudden, he's driving his cab with regular hair and fine. And I'm like, is this a fever dream? Is this like Jacob's Ladder scenario? Like none of this ever happened. As I thought it was, like holy shit, it's a Jacob's Ladder scenario. But instead, they just show Sybil Shepherd get in the back seat, and she's like, read about that stuff you did. That was cool. And he's like Mentos Fresh Maker or whatever the fuck it is. And then it ended, and I'm like, why did it end like that?
It's a Frank story.
But it just, yeah. It
the
was
hot chicks in the car wants to fuck him.
It was like just name dropping it. I was like, what? Yeah. Why did we end it like this? He should have died.
That would have been a cooler ending, yeah.
He should have died thinking he was a hero. I thought when they started going to other shit and doing that, I'm like, he's going to end up being like the Secret Service guy for that Palatine, whatever the fuck his name was, the president. Like, I was like, they kept hitting at that. And I'm like, once they veered off that and he just didn't do anything and just killed pimps, I'm like, what? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, whatever.
In your defense, the Taxi sequel saga has a pretty disappointing ending too.
What is that?
So basically, Taxi's about he picks up this girl. She's wearing a blue dress. He finds out it's a girl he used to bang in the back of his car. He was going to learn how to fly. She was going to be an actress, right? Now she's acting happy inside of a rich house, in her marriage. And Harry Chapin's flying in his taxi, taking tips and getting stoned from her. He takes a 20 from her, and she doesn't, tells him to keep the change. So then sequel's like 10 years later. He's back in the Bay Area. He's like, I'm in town early. What am I going to do? Oh, wait, I'm going to take a taxi to go see her. So he goes to her rich husband's house, right? Knocks on the door. She's not there. She doesn't live there anymore. He goes to where she lives now. She left the marriage. She's a waitress at night. They bang. Actually, he says, I won't tell you if we made love or which one of us started to cry.
I know the song. I know the song.
Oh, okay. Well, most of our audience doesn't. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they do. You've quoted that part of the song for like 15 episodes. Are you kidding me? Everyone here knows that. Here he goes again with quoting the same fucking song. Who molested Bobby to this song?
No, man. That's how you get through heartbreak. As an entertainer, the idea of getting to town and finding an old flame and kind of rubbing it in her face that maybe she made the wrong decision going with the stable guy who works at a fucking nursing home instead of the entertainer.
Oh.
She decided to go with the nice, stable guy with health insurance who gave up on his dreams of comedic magicianing and bailed on the guy who actually had
that might. I think that was actually Punchline with Sally Field and Tom Hanks.
If they ripped off that movie.
Anyway, Dog Day Afternoon. Dog Day Afternoon starts off. Okay, no, here's the best part. Okay?
I fucked a dog.
Here's how it starts, where I was like, okay, this has promise. Because I didn't realize, when I started watching, I go, is this a comedy? Because there are three goofs. It's Al Pacino and two of the ugliest men I've ever seen. The one thing about the 70s was you didn't have to be attracted to be an actor. Like this one guy's you think my hairline doesn't exist. I have a better hairline than the guy in this movie because his hair started here and he was like 20 something. So the two of them and this third guy
they don't even have a type of gay for this queer. He looks like a pedophile, but he's got a twink's face.
No, you got to understand. Like, it's way better than what you're saying. So the three of them get out. They go into the bank. They're bumbling around. One guy goes, gets a gun, puts it on. One guy says, slowly take the money out, whatever, do whatever. Pacino starts doing this thing. The third guy is supposed to be at the door. He holds a gun on the security guard for, I'm not kidding, 11 seconds and goes, hey, Sonny, I can't do this. He's like, what? He goes, I don't know, man. I can't. I'm nervous. I got to go. So they're like, well, we're already robbing the bank. And he's like, I gotta go. So they let him, they go tell security guard, let him out. And as he's leaving, he goes, hey, don't take the car. He goes, well, how am I gonna get home? He goes, how are we gonna leave? We're robbing a bank. Don't take the car. He goes, how do I go? He goes, I don't know, take the subway. And then that guy's just not in the movie anymore. Like, what? Imagine that you get cast as one of the three bank robbers. You think you got this big role, and you're like, yeah, number 3 guy, what's my thing? Like, you're in it for 12 fucking seconds. You're in it for 12 fucking seconds. There's a whole movie's about these two nervous fucks who are weird and one has a big backstory. One barely you learn about at all. And you think you'd build his backstory. Nope. This is just a selfish Al Pacino movie. It's all about Al Pacino's character. It's not about
just stand there and look like an ugly homo.
Yeah. Al Pacino, I guess, is married to a fat lady, has 2 kids, and they're on welfare. They don't stop telling you this. They throughout, even at the end. The ending, when they put things like, when it's based on a true story, they'll be like, Al Pacino's character is now still in jail, serving 20 years of life. They're like, Al Pacino, the next thing it said was, Sonny's wife and children are still on welfare. Like, why are you putting that at the end? then the best part is Al Pacino character was also married to a guy named Leon who was gonna get a second. This is all the movie.
Wait.
Also married to a guy named Leon who needed money to get a sex change operation, so he was gonna rob the bank so he could become a lady. Now they've got Leon. This actor is now having to play. So someone messaged me and goes, "Wait till you see Chris Saunderson's character." And I go, "Who's this?" And I watch it and I'm like, "Oh boy!" And he's just on there saying, "Oh hello." He's like the ultimate 70. All the gay people have makeup on.
I'm like a junkyard of pussy. Right? It's all there, but it's not right. It doesn't work like it's supposed to.
Yeah, he's having someone write his last will and testament to give up his money in case it goes wrong from his life insurance, $10,000. I want $2,500 to go to Leon so he can have his sex change operation. And whatever money's left over, you can get a nice dress or whatever. I want like $5,000 to go to my wife and the kids, do whatever. This whole thing. The end, right? The last line is, so it says, Sonny has been served 20 years in prison for armed robbery, whatever, kidnapping. Sonny's wife and children are on welfare. Third line. Leon got a sex change operation. He is a lady now. That is the end of the credits. It's like, dude, the best part, there was people that were, so the robbing the bank, the media's there, all that. So there's a crowd, right? Huge crowd. But they were the best actors in this whole movie. The best thing in this movie is the actors, because you don't root for the cops, you don't root for the robbers, you root for the actors, because they're out there, and like the cop has a bullhorn and he's going, Sonny, come out of there. And then they start mocking him. And I don't know if they did it they were told to, or assholes were just at the movie taping and they're like, keep it. Because he would go, Sonny, and they go, Sonny. And he go, Sonny, come out. Sonny, come out. Like 80 of them. And he finally turns and goes, cut it out. They go, cut it out. Like, what is this movie? Because there'd be like scariness or whatever. And then
Sonny, it's dog day. We're going to go snip off your balls like a dog. Sonny. Well, it's probably going to just take an afternoon. You can sleep in, Sonny.
There was never a time in the movie where you thought they were going to get away with this bank robbery. Like, not once. Like, there wasn't a second where you thought they had a plan or whatever. It was okay, but it was just silly and weird.
I've clearly made good choices up to this point in life. I'm banging the ugly broad.
I watched Donnie Brasco. It was better than Donnie Brasco.
And the fucking Ishi.
You ever seen that one, Donnie Brasco? That's terrible. Okay.
Pat, I'm afraid you're turning into a real Bye-Bye Birdie situation.
Why?
Are you familiar with the movie?
I am, but why do you think I'm turning into a Bye-Bye?
Well, because like the movie's about somebody who finds their love for life back in the movies, right?
And why would I find my love?
Just I feel like you're finding your passion in the movies.
No, I don't want to watch movies anymore. I'm so mad.
Okay.
I'm doing this to prove to people that the thing they think held up didn't, just like them. That's like they think this thing's been great for 20 years. They also think they've been great for 20 years.
You know what else could use an update? Bye-Bye Birdie.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Definitely.
So who played the lead character in the movie? Do you remember?
No.
Well, it was Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, one of the best names in the history of the world.
I'm thinking we recast...
As a child, that's one of the most fun names.
Right, and I'm thinking we recast the role with Sans Dick Dyke. Okay? And can you guess what the movie Bye-Bye Birdie is going to be about?
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty similar to the plot of Dog Day Afternoon, actually.
Yes. But it was so crazy that in 1972 or whatever, they were talking about get your dick chopped off being a lady, and they were like, they thought it was weird, but they weren't as crazy about it as you thought they'd be in 1970. Like, they were very loose with the N-word. Like, all these movies are
Hurry up
loose.
And put the money in a bag. Sonny's got to get his sex change so he can read to a bunch of third graders.
It's like one guy said the N-word, and this woman and he apologized later, and he goes, sorry, ladies, for my language. And a lady goes, I'm a Christian. My ears aren't trash cans. She walked away. I was like, what? She can't hear that garbage. But anyway, I watched Donnie Brasco and all that shit.
Your body's a temple. I'm a Christian woman. Your body's a temple, and what you're doing is a unsanctioned reconstruction.
By
God doesn't like the home construction project.
in this movie, Sal, bank robber number 2, at one point turns to a lady who has a cigarette and says, "Why are you doing that? Your body's a temple." So it's kind of crazy that you said that. Like, and she goes, "What are you talking about? You're robbing a bank. You're an idiot."
My body's a temple. Talk to fucking Sonny.
Temple of Doom. There it is. But like, so I'm watching all these dumb movies, and I don't know why people like The Mob. It's just okay. The Mob itself is obviously scary. It's an organized criminals. Okay, I don't know why we glorify it, but all the movie show is it's silly adults wearing pajamas, talking baby talk, and gossiping about their friends before they kill them. It's just like weird high school pajama parties.
Yeah, my family's from Youngstown, which was like the second mob capital of the world. Lots of bombings there. And I was talking to my uncle about Jim trafficking. And that was part of the issue he had is like the folklore glorifies the mobster thing. And he's like, Bob, you know, your grandpa was a cop in Youngstown. To this day, I don't start with my car with the door closed. Because from an early age, grandpa was like, hey, if the door's open when you start the car, it's going to blow your body out of it if it explodes. If it's closed, you're dead. And he was like, he knew that from experience. It wasn't like guessing. And he's like, you don't understand the horror. And like, yes, they get a reputation of like, as opposed to gangs, they just killed each other. Whereas like, you know, there's a lot more crossfire deaths with gangs and things like that. But at the end of the day, it was just basically guys killing each other.
Right. That just reminded me. And I had this, I actually thought this other day. So I have this question for you.
Oh boy.
Is there anything in your life? It can be as simple as anything in your house. My thing is very simple in the house that you worry about that you shouldn't. Like something could happen, so you like double check something every day.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like what?
So I mean, the most simple thing is right to my left here.
Yeah.
I light this with a blowtorch, get it nice and hot. If I knock it over, could be a fire. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I
So
go
you're
back.
constantly looking at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even worse when I'm at my parents' house. Like I'll go back. Like I'll leave to go to a comedy show, get 5 minutes on the road, and be like, I gotta go touch those things and make sure they're cool.
I understand that. When I think we all do the leave the house, make sure the things are in our pockets that we just put in our pockets. Or if I put something in the backpack, I literally took the keys in my wallet, put it in my backpack. I close the zipper, and as I open the door, I have to make sure the keys and the wallet are still in the fucking backpack.
Definitely. My dad was the worst. He would go back and check like 4 times, make sure we didn't leave anything at like a restaurant. Like I mean, you develop it through your family too. Like obviously there's some brain chemistry there, but it's definitely a learned habit.
But, okay, but here's the one that I've talked to my family about. No one's doing this. No one ever did this. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it like in a movie, I guess, a long time ago, but it wouldn't matter. I can't go sit on the toilet without look. Once I first sit, I have to stand up and look to make sure there's nothing in there.
The fucking snake.
Snake or a rat or a fucking crocodile. I don't know what I think's going to be in there, but I'm constantly looking in the toilet for a creature. I've never seen a creature.
Sonny, you left your penis in the toilet. I sat on it, Sonny.
Leon.
I may have clipped the audio there. My bad.
That's right. But what is that? Why am I have fear of something biting my balls and asshole in the toilet?
Dude, I don't know if you saw this movie. There was a movie when I was a kid where a snake came out of a toilet. And literally, from that point on, I was like, I'd rather just take the 30 seconds to check. And then around the year 2009.
But I don't have any recall of anything. I just know I can't. And it's always, I don't look first. I sit and then go, fuck. And then I have to stand back up and look quick.
From the year 2009 to 2012, a meme circulated that there was a certain type of spider that was hiding under the toilet seat, too. So then I would have to check for that as well. And
I've never cared about spiders. So that one's not in my head. It's literally a snake or like a rat or some kind of creature that I think's in the toilet. And I don't know what that's from.
Like that.
And I don't do it at other people's. I do it at my own home.
Oh, I do it everywhere.
I don't do it in restaurants. I guess I don't think they're there. I don't know why. They definitely have a better chance of being in a restaurant than my house.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially
I don't know why I do that. Now I'm going to do it because I never thought of it until just now.
Yeah,
now,
dude,
fuck.
Definitely. Also, you shouldn't be sitting down at restaurants too often.
I sit down every time I go to the bathroom. I think we've discussed
That's fair. I forgot about that. I have an issue, and I know you used to work in retail too, and I'm sure you can relate. Like, the store opens at 10 a.m. on Sunday. 9:59, there's a line of 10 people outside. 5 of them sprint straight to the bathroom to take a shit. And it's like, you shouldn't be doing that in public.
Well, that's why I take a shit at 8:30.
I mean, that's at work, like before
Yeah.
the store opened, I would do the same thing. Yeah. I'd take my last 10 minutes in there and hit my weed pen.
And then if I felt like I had to go to the bathroom later, like I knew I ate something, I would go into the bathroom and then I would kind of like messy it up a little and then put a does not work thing on the stall. And then I would go in, clean it, and then go myself so no one else could touch it. And then I take the sign down. I did
love
that a
it.
couple times.
I love it.
Yeah, and it wasn't even ever dirty. I made it look dirty, and then just made sure it was okay for me, and did that stuff all the fucking time. Yeah, I don't. I always had that.
Oh,
And
I would clean the bathrooms for that reason. There was one toilet in the men's room that got a good cleaning if I ever had to shit, and it was when I was going to shit on it. Right? Yeah.
But I like sitting. Is fucking. I made jokes about like I like my phone, but the main reason I think now or never is that I'm fucking in my late 40s. Every time, and I know people make the joke, but it's real. That extra pee drop is a fucking thing. Like when you're pissing at the urinal and you think you're done, and everyone's like, "Oh, a couple more shakes and you're jerking out." It's no, it's like you have to because you know that if you just stop and pull your pants, you get a wet spot in your pants. So I have to stand there for another 2 minutes. So I'd rather just let it. When I let it just hang, it drips, and then I'm done, and then I wipe, and then I'm good. I don't have a wet spot in my fucking pants.
No, I mean, that makes sense to me.
There's a bit I've been working on, part of a longer bit, but saying that if a girl, I think I might have said this on here, but if a girl asked me for like a pic of like a dick pic, I said it. She's like, "Would you ever send a dick pic?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." And she's like, "Would you send a picture of you in your underwear?" I'm like, "I'll send you a dick pic." And she's like, "Wait, what?" I go, "I'd rather you see that and
Then
me just
my
explain that it was
pee-stained
cold
underwear,
than
yeah.
me have a pee stain on my goddamn underwear." Like a fresh wet spot. Here's the gold. The gold lies here. Like, why is there a spot? Like, oh no, I was pointing to Exhibit A.
Do you think
what
that's
I
why
was doing.
Sonny wanted to cut his dick off?
Yes, because he gets dripping. He's like, I'd rather just have a sloppy vag.
So I feel like the Bye Bye Birdie remake ends, and he's like, it's her going under, or him going under, and it's just Al Pacino going, "Bye Bye Birdie," and then the sequel opens with him like opening his eyes, the person from surgery, and it's Al Pacino just leaning over, going, "Well, hello, Dolly. Where's your dick, Dolly?"
Well, see, I think it was the other way. I think you have to really put more Al Pacino in it. So at the end, as he goes, he's going under, and he goes, "When you wake up, your dick's gonna be a hooah," right? But then he passes out, and then he wakes up, and he goes, "Well, hello, pussy." I said, "Hello, pussy."
It's him singing to the pussy.
Yes, because he doesn't care about Leonetta now, whatever her name is.
And he
Loretta Lynn.
I was saying Dolly was her name.
There you go. Whatever the fuck. I can still be Leon in this day and age. That's just so funny because now
and
that
she
wouldn't be a
shall
part of.
be Leon.
It
And
wouldn't
she's
be part
now
of a movie
a
now.
woman.
It wouldn't be part of a movie now. Yeah.
Her
So
dick
it's obviously
has
Leon
been
a hero. Like no, Leon's a waste of time in the movie, and the cops make fun of it. No, Leon should be a hero in the movie. Why is Leon a hero? Because it's going through decision. This person, Leon, was in a crazy. Leon thought she was trapped inside a woman's body, right? And said that, and the cop went like, dude, and everyone else kind of looked at him, but they didn't really shame him or not. It's 1970. The cop just goes, and they're like laughing. And then because he thought he was a woman trapped in a man's body, they put him in an insane asylum for like weeks. And he was all drugged up. They took him out of there just so he could try to talk Leon out of the bank. But like he was supposed to stay there. So the drugs were wearing off, and they forced his whole thing. This was hidden. The family knew, but it wasn't out there. And then the media gets a hold of it right away. And it's like 2 homosexuals are now robbing the bank. And then the Sal guy goes, "Hey, tell them that's not true. Tell them it's 1. I don't need that." And he's like, "It's not a big deal. It's not." He goes, "It's a big deal." So when he came out with his one gun the one time to talk to people, he goes, the FBI guy goes, "What's your demands?" He goes, "Tell them all it's 1 homosexual." Like that's a part of the movie. Like I was like, what am I watching?
Listen, whoa, we don't want anybody to get shot. But if she doesn't lose a dick, she can't keep swimming for Penn.
By the way, the main reason why the big focus on this, why is Al Pacino's life terrible? Why is he robbing a bank? Because the people in his life, the women in his life are so annoying and don't stop yelling. It's just his fat wife and his annoying mom going, nah, 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 never giving him a word in edgewise where he can't handle it, that he'd rather bang a guy in a time when that wasn't cool and have that guy turn into a lady and then rob a bank with the chance of going to jail than ever talk to his mom or wife again. Like, that was the message.
You know, I'd rather get fucked in the ass than deal with my wife, a whore mother.
And then
Better.
Sonny walks up. He's like, I have an idea.
Dude, the FBI, within 2 minutes, they found breaking news. It's confirmed that Leon is a woman and married to him. Here's a picture of Leon in his wedding dress. And it's on the news. This guy in a wedding dress. Like, it was the weirdest fucking movie, dude. And everyone's like, this is the best. Someone goes, wait till you watch this. This movie's perfect for you. I'm like, what do you think of me?
You know I played a mobster, right?
He didn't yet.
Oh, I don't know.
This is way early. This is before he got so typecast that he couldn't do it. But there's one scene where he just runs out of the bank, and they could have just arrested him 12 fucking times. But they're just like letting him run around screaming Attica.
Gattaca!
Yeah.
How big would you make your dick? Gattaca!
I was talking.
Sonny said negative.
Who was I talking? Oh, Dan Brown. And Dan Brown was watching the other podcast I've been doing with
Whoa! Now there's a guy I'd bang. There's a guy I'd rob a bank to cut his dick off. Whoa! He's already got the hair.
Dan was like, hey, when I watch that, you talk at a different pace and level than you do with Bobby or on POS and stuff. I said, well, yeah, because more of an interview. We're talking comedy. I'm not trying to fire jokes in and stuff. I go, and Bobby's more like going back and forth saying crazy shit, and I got to keep up with them. And they go, and, sometimes you're just playing stuff up. And the comedy thing, I'm not. He goes, what do you mean? I go, you think I care about the movie Gattaca? He is like, I go, Bobby mentions it every week, but it's not like I'm really upset that he says it. But like every week I have to go like, oh God, I got it. Like, I don't care. I know exactly where it's going. I think it's just funnier for me to be that. So, but if you haven't watched the latest putting in the work yet, guest of here, Mike O'Donnell. Mike hits me up yesterday and goes, I was looking for guests, and I was about to message him. And I guess gonna text in the middle of the morning. He just goes, hey, when can I put in the work? And I just go, oh, look at you using the title of the show. I go, dude, can you do it today? He's like, I'm fucking in. And his joke he has, dude, I love the idea of it. So if you watch the podcast, the idea he has for a joke now, it's him talking about MMA. I let him, you watch the thing, but a guy lied to him about what he's loved. He does MMA, and some guy lied to him about his qualifications in MMA and how good he was. And the lie is so fucking great that we just talked about how many ways you could go with this joke. It's so fucking good.
That's awesome.
So check that one out. He was on it. The one before that was Ish Group. We have had some good guys on. It's been a lot of fun so far. So check that out.
I gotta hop on there with you at some point to flesh out this school shooting joke.
Yes. I've been constantly working on my Law and Order Special Victims Unit joke.
Nice.
I've been doing that a lot there. I've been getting it pretty good. But now, once again, so when I'm done telling it, there's that one part where everybody does the song. Mike messaged me like 5 minutes later and goes, I'm doing the fucking song. All I say is it's nothing more than a retarded guy in a car going, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And I've been doing it on stage, and then like a minute later, people are just doing it. So I've already used it once as later on, if somebody in a crowd heckles something dumb, I just do a retarded song at them. And it literally shuts them up. It just says you're retarded. They're like, you're not funny. I'm like, dun, 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 dun. And they just shut up. But so long story back all the way around. The shows went good with Gino Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said about the pictures, and it's kind of funny. I don't know if you noticed because it got more play on Twitter, but I posted one with one of the comics' mothers who took a picture with Gino, who looked
I saw a picture. I didn't know what it was, but
like Tina Forte. So I said, I can't believe Tina Forte showed up to the shows.
I saw that on Instagram.
I can't tell you how many people thought it was the actual Tina Forte.
I saw people thinking it was, and someone tagged her in it.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, I don't remember who, but someone tagged her.
It was me. I wanted to make it look legit, but
I thought it was better that Gino had a picture he was posting about with him and black people in suits, and I was like, "Is this his way of saying, look, Godfrey, I know some?"
Well, it was an interesting show. Have you ever done like a themed show based on ethnicity?
Yes.
So this one was sauce versus gravy.
I saw the poster. Yes.
And I mean, I was just doing a guest spot, so I wasn't any team, but I knew the host, Nick Petito. He
So
was
you were
supposed.
like you were like rolls.
I mean, I'm team sauce all the way.
I don't know if you were meatballs or what you were.
The host is a great guy. He was supposed to be our guest tonight. He had a date. He had to bail. I'm not going to hold that against him.
Who's the host?
Nick Petito. He's an impressionist from Jersey, and we worked together a couple of times during the pandemic.
You were gonna have an impressionist on here.
He's also stand-up. He does.
You were gonna have an impressionist on here.
I was, yes.
Where's Frank? I need the phone.
Okay. Well,
Well,
you know who can do a great Al Pacino?
Yeah, but was he gonna do that shit where he's like, so what if Shaquille O'Neal and T.I. were at a Taco Bell?
No. That's my point. Like, he's a normal guy too. He's not one of those.
I fucking hate that.
And that's what I was gonna say. Is his act when we worked together during the pandemic? The first couple of times was like, "Hey, do you guys know this guy?" And then he'd turn around and be whoever it was. And the impressions are spot on. Like, he's very good at the impression. But
He's like tough acting to acting. You're like, all right, I got it.
I saw his act this time, and it's funny. Like, if he just did the jokes, they'd be okay. Like, it would be a solid act. You know what I mean? But the impressions bring it there. He's got like a whole story that doesn't make sense, but it works for the jokes. If that makes any
Is
sense.
it Caliendo-esque?
Yeah. It's on par with that. But
He's not as good as Caliendo, obviously.
No, he's close.
I think Caliendo is fucking super talented. He's one of the few that I
yeah.
think the whole world stole what he did. Because Rich Little did it one way, Caliendo did it another way, and now no one can do it anymore, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%.
Caliendo fucking took certain voices and made them characters that would actually interrupt the other parts of the joke, which is insane. To try to memorize what he did, to have George Bush and fucking John Madden and all these people and Charles Barkley interrupting the rest of his act and then having to remember how to get back to shit is crazy.
And it was funny we did the Dog Day afternoon because the one joke he did like that was just he was talking. It was like there was a car accident or something. And Al Pacino got out of his bus, but he didn't say that. And he just goes, "What the fuck?" as Al Pacino. And it's so perfect that like the whole audience lost it. Right. I mean, it was a not standing, but like a stop and clap break. But he goes to me, he's like, "Hey, you're up first." I'm like, "Hey, whatever works, man. I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. Thanks for giving me time." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." So I just sing a song to start. So I'm going to sing a song and then bring you right up.
Your song?
It was "Run Around Sue."
Oh, God.
Now, did you know that song had 5 verses, Pat?
Yep.
Well, the audience didn't, because they stopped clapping after the first verse, and he ran out of breath after the first verse. But
I've told you the story about when I saw David Hasselhoff. Hasselhoff sang 2 songs at the beginning, Ride, Sally, Ride, and Run Around Sue. Combined, those songs take a half hour.
Yep. So he brings me up, and I just go, "Hey, I liked how you guys ran out of energy the same time Nick ran out of breath." And it busted the room open, and it was good. I had a great show.
Were they singing along?
They were clapping it for the first verse, and then
they were doing
trickled out. Yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah, they were.
How old was this audience?
For the most part, like my age to your age was the range.
Really? They were on board with that song?
The one comedian who brought his mother, his grandmother, also came, and she was the only person who laughed at my funt joke.
Nice.
She's the only one, and I think it was because she was the only one who did the like spelling in her head and got it, but she laughs very hard. So it was good. And then I did my whole, "Hey, you guys hear about these shootings?" And the room just looked at me, and Gino in the back laughed really hard, so that helped. Yeah. But it was a great show. Everybody killed, start to finish. Nice. And then Gino, who hadn't been drinking all week, was in a rare form. I mean, his act was tight. No. He was sober.
Oh, I thought you meant because he had drank all week.
No, he was sober and he was sharp. He was tight. It was good, fun show. Nice. And then we did Dave Temple's album recording Sunday. It'll be good. Came out real well.
Oh, he's a fucking killer. So it's gonna be good no matter what. Who else is on the show?
It was him. Berg opened. Then it went to Derek Gaines, and then it was Dave.
It is crazy because I know they're all friends, but it's crazy if you think about the guys who've been putting out albums the last 2 years. Used to be you just had a guy that was your buddy, like Joe List used to have like Jason Cantor and people. They're serviceable and they're good, and people like that opening for you, but like you didn't get this beast. But it's just crazy now how yes, Dave Temple is awesome, but so is Berg and so is Derek Gaines, and it's all. I think it happens in New York comedy. They're so used to working with people like that it's just like nothing. It's no big deal. but it's longer sets than they're used to doing. So sometimes that can backfire. You know what I mean?
And yeah, and can I tell you what the coolest thing for me was? Is Derek the night before had taped, or like a week before had taped for Netflix, for his special. He's got something going on Netflix. He was just as excited for Dave as he was for his own thing. And like it was genuine. You could see it dripping off of him, and it really gave you this sense of a guy who was just like, that's my guy who's getting his thing now. It's his moment. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it would have been very easy to be like, oh yeah, I just did my thing too. You didn't hear a word
but
about
also, not that I know Derek Gaines well. I've only interacted with him like 4 or 5 times, but every time I have, everything to that guy is the best, and everything is wonderful. And I know that he can get people told me like everyone can get angry, but that guy is one of the most supportive people. So like if you're his boy, all you hear about is his boys, and
that's
like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my whole point. Like there was not a moment where it even slightly was about him or Berg. Both those guys were like, it's Temple tonight, and then Dave came out and murdered. I mean, it was awesome.
When I first met him, it was through Compound, and I had him on this show before you came on. I had him on on the PO when it was like the Paddles to Saturday Paddles podcast, whatever it was called then. But I had him on once or twice, and he's fucking fantastic. He's so good. So, and I met him by being a guest on Kumia, I think, with him.
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good combo.
Yeah. I know it was one of those shows. It was either there or West, but somewhere where I had met him through Compound.
And I know right now people want him back on because they feel like, and Anthony wants him on, they want to talk about the whole Godfrey thing with him and feel like he can kind of provide balance to both sides of the force.
He could, but it also could put him in a weird spot, so you don't know.
It's just him and Derek come in with guns with Godfrey, and then Tracy Morgan shows up. I lost my legs in Vietnam. They're like, Tracy, I think you lost the message.
I think what they do is they have Andre Kim come in pretending he's just delivering Chinese food because he used to do that for his family's business anyway. And he walks in, and then all of a sudden Godfrey comes out and like, surprise, he starts blowing everybody up. That could work.
Oh, don't joke about that. There was a bomb threat today.
I can joke about anything I want. I don't care.
Of
You yell
course.
school shootings. You yell school shootings in your show. I can make a fake joke that actually has more relevancy than what you said because Godfrey has said he wants to fucking kill them. I kind of want Godfrey to go in and kill
I'm
them
okay if Sonny wants to cut his dick off, but don't joke about bombs outside of compound.
I didn't say bombs. You said bombs.
There was a bomb threat this morning, so the whole block was shut down. No. I was literally just making a joke.
It's New York.
I was segueing into it. So the whole block was shut down, and we're standing out there, and we found out.
I just want to make clear I want Godfrey to go in and shoot everybody in compound media.
No, don't say that.
Go ahead. Anyway, no, I had to get it out.
We would get a few more hits on the show.
Get a few more hits if my pilot was on there. But anyway, go ahead.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
Bomb threat.
yeah. So we're standing out there, and we find out that like somebody called in. They saw a grenade-looking object outside of Cutlets. To which Bill Schultz just goes to the cop. Do you know how grenades work? Like if it was a problem, it would have been over hours ago.
I forgot about Bill Schultz. We had him on a while back.
Yeah, he's
I
the
just
man.
forgot about him. No, he's great. I just forgot his existence. He just said his name. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. I'm just so removed from the compound people that I forget. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I get that.
and I'm gonna say something right now, and I know you don't have to weigh in because you shouldn't weigh in because you're gonna get upset. I'm just going to say it, and you can't weigh in, but whatever. The arguing thing back, I don't know much about it. I've just seen the clips that people put up about Godfrey and Kumio and Gino, whatever it is. All I'm saying is this. I usually side with the funniest stand-up in an argument. I don't know why I've always done that. And I don't know. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people from both sides, whatever. And it's just a guy on stage performing. Godfrey's better than everybody in the combat. I'm not shitting on that. That doesn't mean anything. Godfrey's a beast and a national headliner, been on TV. I've watched Godfrey do a weekend set, 5 shows, 2 hours each night, 2 different hours every time. It's insane and destroy. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like he's just a beast. Now I'm not talking about personalities or anything. I'm just saying, as great as all the rest of them are. What?
And certainly not podcasts.
You know what? I only podcast of his I've seen is the clips where he's talking about Anthony. I've never watched the podcast. So I don't know. But I don't think it's narrated towards me. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm the audience for it.
I'm not sure who is.
Oh, what I heard is black people that like black people because he's very pro guy. Like Anthony's very pro white. Like it's a good battle. I'm not saying they're negative against the other thing, but they both are big fans of their skin. Can not say that? I'm not saying that either one of them is racist, but they really root for the home team.
Makes sense.
And if they don't win, it's a shame. Then they sing the whole song. Then Bobo comes out and sings a Star Spangled Banner or whatever it is. But so I had a show this weekend.
How'd it go? You and the infamous Johnny.
Well, I wanted to share one part. I keep thinking I said this to you, but I didn't say it to you. So who the fuck did I say it to?
Probably Mike.
No, because he wasn't on the show. Did I tell you about talking to Johnny about Earl David Reed?
You mentioned to Manny and I that we should ask them about each other.
Oh, and maybe who did I say it to?
I don't know if we
I
ever
was
followed
wrong.
up. Okay.
You were both right in what you read in me. I didn't realize that was really there. So I said to Johnny, I said, I was talking about, he asked me about what I've been doing. And I said the podcast. And I said, it's funny because my co-host lives in the area where Earl David Reed is like the U of there or whatever. And he goes, that fucking guy.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, oh, what? He goes, let me guess, your buddy opens for him. Has he ever been paid?
Yeah.
I was like, oh. I go, I think so. I think he gets paid sometimes. And he goes, he's like, that's nice change. So there's something there, and I didn't know what it was. Whatever.
No, I
But
mean,
was like,
it's pretty plain and simple. What it is a lot of people go, if you're having somebody open for you, you should pay them all the time. And Earl goes, my deal is I don't need an opener. I can go do these shows by myself. The club's happy with it. He doesn't do clubs. He does VFWs and fireballs for the most part.
Right.
They're happy with
same
it.
thing as John.
You know what I mean? They're there to see me. They're there to see the radio guy, Earl. They don't care about who opens or who middles. They're there to see me. So if you want stage time in front of 100 people, I'll give you whatever you're ready for, but that's what you're getting. And a lot of people look at that and go, no, you pay me to do comedy. And some people look at that and go, that's a heck of an opportunity, and try to take advantage. And neither side's necessarily wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You're valuing yourself, but you're not valuing other people. So you're not a fan of comedy, you're a fan of you. And there's a big difference there. So yes, we can all do the show by ourselves if we want to, but he never would have gotten the opportunity to be the guy who can do an hour and a half, 2 hours by himself if he wasn't given those 25 minutes a long time ago. If he wasn't given that 15 minutes and that opportunity a long time ago. And I'll guarantee you he was getting his money then. I'm guaranteeing you, even if it was a lot, he was paying his dues but getting his money. So to turn around and say, I don't need you now, yeah, you might have been hurt by other people, but you're souring comedy.
And I don't think he's ever had that direct conversation with me. That was just me kind of summarizing his thoughts, I think.
Understandable.
So, you don't know what I mean? I just don't
want
to be like, he's that arrogant, if that makes any sense.
If anyone's coming with me to do time on a show, and I'm the one who gets the time on, if I'm headlining, I'm allowed to bring people. I may, even if the club says to me, hey, we're just giving you this amount. You can do what you want with it. You can bring 3 people. You can bring no people. You can do what you want. I always bring people because I don't drive. But even if I didn't, I always like an opening act. I think it's fun to be with someone. We're doing something
absolutely.
to get. Comedy's fun to be with somebody. And you want to give somebody an opportunity too. So when I do that, yeah, if someone hands me $500, it would be nice to pocket $500, but I'm not going to. But I'm also not going to pocket $475. I'm not going to throw you $25 and then also ask you to pay for your own gas, and therefore you're just spending the $25 you got. If you're going to do $25, I'm going to throw you $100 to do the time. When I did City Steam with you and Dave, I was given money and was allowed to pay you guys.
And I assume that's how it happened, and there was no issue with fairness. I like getting paid, don't get me wrong. And he does have a system where it gives you the opportunity to open, then he picks a guy who features. You know what I mean? It was the guy.
No, he didn't pick either one.
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean Earl David Reed?
Earl, yeah. So then
I thought you meant when we did City Steam. I was like, no, Ryan didn't pick it. Ryan had me.
Yeah.
People.
No. I knew we were on that show because of you. Yeah. No, I knew how that worked. And it was very generous of you. But he has a feature guy who he pays real feature money and significant. I know that because he accidentally gave me that money one time. I was like, oops, my bad. If you feature for me, that's what we'll get. You know what I mean? So it is like a feeder team. So like the guys who are just showing up to do 5-minute spots because they want to, he gives gas money, and then the guys who are like actually featuring, he gives a decent amount. So like it is like
5-minute spots different. You said opening for it, and so that's where I got.
Yeah, no. So that's why I wanted to clarify and explain. Like, yeah, so there's. For a while when I worked with him, there was like a feature, and then there were a couple of like openers.
That doesn't count. That's guest spots. I don't even call them.
That's so yeah. Like
you're doing 5 minutes, you're a guest spot. Guest spot is your payment is stage time. There's a difference. That's been going on forever. if you're doing anything more than you're doing 15 minutes plus, and you have a role. If you're 10-minute spot, but you are hosting the show, you
Yeah,
get paid.
absolutely.
Once you're given a job as to be the opener or the host or whatever, then you should be compensated for your actions. If you're not, you're being taken advantage of because you're putting in a skill. But
Absolutely.
anyway,
And he doesn't have hosts. It's a handoff situation. And really what it's become now, which is kind of cool, is the people who work for him all have shows where they get paid, you know what I mean, to feature or even headline local shows. And so it comes down to who's free that weekend. So it's like, do I want to do comedy for you know what I mean, a little bit, or just sit at home and 9 times out of 10 just go do comedy. For me, it's 10 out of 10. But
so have you performed with anyone who saw you when you first started? So how long have you been doing it now?
we're coming up on 10 years.
Okay. So this is a perfect example. Is there anyone that you've worked with recently, or maybe haven't worked with but want to kind of deal, but they still think of you as first or second year Bobby?
Yeah.
Have you worked with anyone recently that did know you as that, and then like kind of still treated you that same way? And even when you performed, they kind of just like they were complimenting you, but it was almost felt like an insult.
Yes, I know exactly what you're relating to, or what you're
That was
getting
my
at.
weekend,
Oh, that sucks.
and it wasn't his fault, and I'm not gonna blame him. But Johnny Rizzo's been doing comedy for like 30 years. I've been doing comedy for 15 years. Okay, when I knew him, I've probably seen him once or twice, like there would be like this guy Brad Axelrod used to do these treehouse showcases and things in Connecticut. He had these huge shows he would do, and then he would have like someone like me host, and then Johnny close, and have like 10 comics in between. So I would like host. I would do like 15 to 20 up front, do 2 minutes in between 7 or 8 people, and so you're doing like 30 minutes or whatever it is. You're getting paid okay, decent money, but you're doing a lot of time. All these other comics are doing their 5-minute sets, and then Johnny's doing 20, 25, whatever, and getting paid to close a show, whatever. But it's not like one would pay attention to the other or whatever. Besides that, the last time he had seen me is when I was first running Joker's Wild. I'd book him to headline because he was a local guy that everyone loved, and I was maybe hosting the shows. So obviously I've developed it. Now, I'm not saying that every comedian who's not, that's older and around is supposed to be paying attention to the local scene. But if you ask most people in Connecticut who one of us are that are comics right now, he's so removed, they're probably not even going to know who he is, or might have heard the name like by being at Treehouse, but they're all going to know who I am type deal. And I don't mean that right. It's just because of relevancy of them being around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I go to an open mic, people are like, "Oh shit, that's Pat Oates. This guy is."
You told the story last week's where a guy thought enough of you to make a reference to you in the crowd.
Right, exactly.
So people, he think, you know what I mean? You're known in the scene.
Right. In around the New England area and all that bullshit, whatever. I'm just saying I'm known enough. Now, the guy who also booked me, the guy who owns the restaurant that we have the show at, is a guy who was a comic, kind of, and then kind of dipped out, still could do it. He does the old school type things.
Now he wears a ski mask, does a podcast.
Not that guy. He does not own a restaurant. That guy, I would not eat there. So this guy, when he did jokes, they were fine, they were good, but they're streetish. You know what I mean? Like he writes them, but they're street level, whatever. And so he run it, and he was kind of like, when he said, he goes, are you going to have me host or something? I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's a 2-man show. He goes, yeah, I saw that, but you must have a third guy. Like, how are you going to do the time up front? And I go, oh, I'll be, I thought he was kind of kidding. I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm going to do like 45 up front and then let Johnny do 45, a 2-man show. And he goes, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. And he goes, how many times have you done it? I go, I have 2 albums. So I've done it at least twice.
Yeah, I got this.
And he's going, oh, okay. Because he didn't really work with me, whatever. He's like, okay, fine, whatever. Hope it goes okay, whatever. And then, so Johnny beforehand is like, he's like, well, I haven't really performed much during COVID. I'm not saying him at all. He's an older guy, and he had COVID at one point. And he's like, my memory's not really there. Do you care if I bring up notes? I'm like, dude, you can read from a book. I don't give a fuck. You're Johnny Rizzo. They love it. I've never cared about that shit. You do you, baby girl. You know what I mean? You do whatever. So I just go up. It's a smaller room, and it probably could hold like 50 to 55 people, right? It's a small little back room with long tables. We had parties. We had 40 something. So it was pretty much
a good room. Yeah, it's a solid room.
Especially for like a thing I had a month ago. And they were all there, big parties of people but there was older people there. Like nobody was young. Okay. You know what I mean? Like the youngest people were probably a couple years younger than me. And there was some older people there too. But that's a perfect crowd for him. That's what I hear. They weren't really here for him. They were kind of here for whatever. And I'm like, I know I'll be fine. I know my act. I'll be fine. I go up, start off before the dude. I crush. I'm not gonna say that. I fucking new shit, old shit, whatever. Especially when I'm doing this stuff about my old job, and now the difference in that act is I was doing it as a guy who was working there. Now I'm doing it from the energy of I'm so dangerous.
Ooh, I'm a
That
badass.
because that these words got me fun. I'm like I'm like making fun of that, but just I could see there was a little hallway across from the stage where there was a door you could open and close, but he had to open a little so because there wasn't a green room, so like the headliner was just chilling out there. I could see him watching me, and at first laughing, and then at one point just kind of like looking at his notes, like. So I even said to the lady, "Can you close that door?" I think I'm making Johnny nervous, like making a joke, but walls were shaking. Like I'm killing it. I'm like, this is. I go, they're here for him. So if I'm crushing,
he's gonna hit a home run. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he did his thing. He had to look at his notes. He's still legendary. He has a joke. Some of his jokes sound like old jokes, but A, he's old.
Makes
and
sense.
B, he writes in that style of like old jokes. But he has one that I heard. I had never heard this before, but I feel like I've heard it 50 times. And I laughed out loud and I even, you ever like laugh and then want to yell fuck you at somebody because it's so simple, but so great. He had a joke where he goes, a guy went to the doctor and he had 27 toy horses stuck in his asshole. The doctor said he's in stable condition. I'm like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like,
that's a great joke.
Yeah. I was like, me and the guy who ran the place, everyone was like, fuck off, like whatever. And he does a lot of jokes about describing going down on women. He's this old skinny guy. And he's like, you know that thing on top of your pussy? They call it a cricket. You got to lick the cricket. He's just yelling. It's insane, crazy shit. But he's pausing around, doing whatever. I've got a timer for him. He told me to light him at 35. He's doing fine. He's killing. When he gets his laughs, they're uproarious. But like, in comparison, I had more laugh or whatever, but it didn't matter. I'm not comparing. I was so happy. It was a great show.
That's a show.
So I'm staring at my phone. And at one point I look at my phone and I go, oh, he's at 27 minutes. I don't have to light him for another like 7 minutes at least. I can go to the bathroom. I go to stand up and he goes, that's my time. And I just turn around and I go up and I'm not going to, to me, I was always raised in comedy. It's disrespectful to do time after the headline.
Yes,
you don't do that. You don't do that no matter what. And the show had gone long enough because we started a little bit later because people were finishing dinner because there's a restaurant and whatever. So people were eating dinner then coming in. So it's like, and they were all older and nobody was mad. Everybody had such a great fucking time. Nobody in the audience has a clue that he did less time than me. They don't know.
Nobody's keeping track.
But I was kind of like, what? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But it was fine. He comes off and he's like, he goes, yeah, I might go a little short. I'm like, yeah, you did almost 30. And he's like, I told you, I don't even know if I have 35 anymore. But I can't remember. I'm like, it's fine.
You did great.
You did great. So whatever you want. He goes, well, we got to do this again. Well, I really don't have anything else again. You kind of just did this. And he's like, well, I don't really have much other stuff booked right now. I go, well, sure, shit will come up. Sure, we'll work again together sometime soon, whatever. And he goes, he looks at me and goes, yeah, you've gotten better. And I go, I appreciate that. And he goes, like, you enunciate better. And I'm kind of like, wait, where's he going? And he's like, yeah, you say things clearer now. You really didn't speak that clearly before. You did well. And I'm going like, I did well. I did well? Like,
oh, you don't get that I'm giving you this gig out of respect.
Like, also because they made me.
Oh, they did? I thought this was the one you were going to do pretty regularly where you picked him the first time. Or did I misunderstand that?
But it was under the understanding that the guy who runs the place said to me, hey, everybody here always loved Johnny. I love Johnny. Why don't we have Johnny? I wouldn't have gone to Johnny. I would have gone first show.
It was even less reverence than I thought. See, I thought you went, you know what? I really like this Johnny guy. He hasn't worked in a while. Let me put him on as the co-headliner.
I would have definitely had him because we're going to do shows in the fall now and then do them regularly. We're not going to do one in the summer because it's going to be dead. It's a back room of an Italian restaurant. People aren't going to want to go there in August. So why?
It's going to be too hot.
That's the nice thing about having a guy who owns a restaurant who used to be a comic or kind of still is. He's like, if someone comes and there's 15 people, they're going to think comedy's bad here. Exactly. Even if it's a good show. And I'm like, exactly. I'm the same page. I go, I don't worry about it. And it's not like I don't ever do door stuff, but with him, he promotes and pushes. So I was getting the door. I set up the Eventbrite. He just wanted the booze and food.
That's
so awesome. Whatever's happening, that was fine. But then again, to be honest with you, for the first show and taking that risk, I don't know if I think some of them came for Johnny, but not a lot. Most of them came for just because there was a show. I would have had a Pete open for me.
Yeah.
And I would have closed it and done a 2-man show that way and then made a little bit more money or whatever, or at least not been worried about having to pay someone. I mean,
Yeah.
I had the Eventbrite. So, a week before the show, my goal was to make sure a week before the show I had his money.
Makes sense.
And I had his money. But I'm also super broke right now because I'm not working. So I'm like,
Now it'd be gotta be nice if a couple more
well, I'm
people
like,
can.
as long as I can Venmo this guy, that's cool. And then of course I get there and he's like, oh, I don't do electronics. So I had to go to an ATM and take money out and hand it to him, whatever. And it wasn't like it's a ton of money, but it was whatever it was. And and I'm not trying to insult him. He's a professional. He's been doing it forever. That's old school. You get cash, you do whatever, and then you look for gigs right afterwards because that's what you did. The second you were done, you asked when you came back. That's old school shit because there wasn't really social media networks and all that kind of shit, whatever. And I get it. But then even the guy who ran the place was kind of like, yeah, you did good. You were better than I thought you were going to be. It's like,
Bitch, I'm a professional.
yeah, but they don't look at me that way. I'm still that guy. And it's just like, and then people afterwards were like, holy shit. Like, and they were saying good job the bullet, but I was getting messages from people like, what the fuck, dude, I'll come back. That was fucking crazy. Why did you go first? I'm like, it was a great show all around. It's like, but and one lady just goes, why did you do twice the amount of time as the guy who went last? She's like, you guys should have flipped that. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to do more time. She goes, no, you should have gone last. I go,
Done
no,
more
no,
time. Yeah.
No, because he would have done great for 20. His 30 minutes up front would have been murderous. You know what I mean? Either way, I'm not shitting on him. It was more of a 5 years ago, I would have said something fucked up. And I know people are like, well, you're complaining on your podcast. I'm not complaining on my podcast. What I'm doing on our podcast is I'm using it like therapy and out loud saying what I recognize was in my head. But in reality, Johnny and I are very similar. He is a guy who's been doing it forever and knew that I looked up to him, and he still wants to be that. I'm sitting there saying, why don't you look at me? Look what I've become. We're the same thing. The fact that we put together and had a great show and there weren't egos is a beautiful fucking thing. And I have to look at comedy that way more than be like, why aren't you recognizing me? I don't need his recognition. Exactly.
Like you.
And it comes a lot from me also saying to my dad afterwards, I did that. And he goes, Johnny Rizzo, I've known that name forever. And he's like, but my dad knows me now and goes, oh, could he follow you at this point? And I'm like, yeah, he's great. But my dad also knows how good I am at it. And that took a long time for my dad to accept that, because at one point my dad told me my first year, if you want, son, I'll write your jokes for you if you're going to do this. My dad had never done comedy. He just didn't think I could. And it's like, so to be able to do that, it's what that is. So what I'm trying to do now more is when I'm going to I went to an open mic on Thursday. I was in a Westfield, Mass, run by this guy.
Real quick, I'm just picturing an Asian guy very upset because he took his son to see Oates and Rizzo, and he thought it was a Hall & Oates tribute band that he would enjoy, and his daughter would enjoy Lizzo.
Yes. Oates and Rizzo.
Where's the Lizzo? Why Oates so angry?
Oh, her freestyle on Man Eater is out this world.
Why men great till they gotta be great?
So, yeah, you know what? That song Lizzo's got out that everyone's TikToking to is fucking fire. By the way, that is a fucking song. I don't want to get that because now I'll go down the list of. I've been going on rabbit holes so much. I've been watching. What's their fucking name? They did this freestyle thing that won't stop being in YouTube and every clips, and I've just been watching deep dives. I can't stop watching them.
They're the shit.
Because that other dude is Busta Rhymes and carnated, and he's not that.
Who's your favorite rapper? Put him in a stretcher.
Yeah, when dude. I went to go find their other shit, it's like, oh, their other shit stinks.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's not as good as these freestyles.
Apartment 505.
Not as good as those two freestyles. And I've listened to everything now. And I've actually now watched
that. Never freestyle is the best.
That's what I'm saying. But the two of them are better than their album shit. But I'm watching this guy now react to them. This black guy who just knows about rap and just fucking pauses and breaks down every bar. He has a pillow that says, those bars are fired. He pulls it up, just shows it from the fucking thing. He's biting and he's going nuts. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what is this? And he's like, it's crazy. And I'm like, that's how I watch stand up. When people send me their clips, I fucking stop and I'm like, motherfucker, this. And I get excited, whatever. But getting back to that thing I'm saying, I went to an open mic on Thursday in Westfield, Massachusetts. This guy named Buddha Joe runs an open mic. Now it's quite the open mic.
Gotcha.
He's putting in the Lord's work. I mean, like, Buddha Joe takes a back room of a shit bar and turns it into a little mini nightclub. I mean, it's for an open mic. He gets like 25, 30 people to go to Westfield, Massachusetts, comics, not even including the audience that they now comes and sits in the seats. So he gets 15 to 20 audience members on a fucking Thursday to watch open mic comedy for free with 20 to 30 comics all signing up. But it's him, another host, so two hosts,
Okay.
a DJ,
Makes sense.
full fucking ones and twos, playing music. Everybody's getting theme music. Every comic gets to choose their entrance music. And it was funny. They asked Dan Brown. He goes, "Do I have to?" it's like that's just such a Dan Brown thing. Like, I also like just play something upbeat. I don't give a shit whatever you play. But
Put on the Dancing Queen for my lover, Dan Brown.
because Dan's like, "Do you think they would know any Led Zeppelin?"
I want to have a boner first set.
But like, so they have that. The guy has an entourage. It's all these people. He's
Dan,
putting out
shake your
flyers.
booty when you go up there for me.
Dan's gonna be the next one to fucking cancel you. Frank, you keep shitting on Frank for Dan for no reason. But so
It's not me. It's Al
stop.
Pacino sexually harassing.
No, it's you. Every time Dan is there, trying to say he's a lady because you secretly want to make sweet love to Dan, and it's fine. But I mean, it's not a secret anymore.
I think Al Pacino
I wish he would
does.
be. I wish he'd be my Leon. But like so I go to this mic and I go. I don't know anyone there except for Dan. And there's this one girl that I know. She was on here with us once, Emily Sierra. We had her on like months ago. But that's it. The rest, it was like 20 something comedians. And I was like kind of excited. I was like, first, like, oh, this is weird not to know anyone and just be up here. And everyone's real young and they're kind of looking at me. I'm feeling that, like, who's this old man? And even the owner was like, do you are you from around here? Are you new to comedy? I go, well, I'm not new to comedy. I've been around here before. I've performed around here, but it's been years in this area. And he's like, who did you perform with? And I was like, I said the name they would know. It's my buddy Steve Nagel, who's been on here too. And he's like
Yeah,
one of
we've
the
had
guys
Steve.
big morning show. So, and he's like, their morning show is like the shit in that area. So it's like, you say his name, it's like you're saying John Lennon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it literally, and he goes, wait, you like know him? So as he's saying that, I'm texting Steven going, this guy's asking me if I know you. And he's like, send him a picture of us making out or something. he's like, and I was just laughing. He goes, dude, and then he yells at me going, so you're in Westfield and you didn't tell me so I can get a babysitter to go visit my fucking friend. And you're up here for no fucking reason. I'm like, my bad. Sorry. He's like,
Sorry,
just
dude.
just working on dumb shit. I just want to work on some shit. So then there's some young comics there. And once they asked me to sign up my name, I'm like fourth. So they're like, what's your name? And I go, it's Pat Oates. And I'm like, oh, I start spelling it because I just do that to everybody.
Yeah.
And he goes, yo, you Pat Oates? And I was
No.
like, yeah. And he goes, the guy goes, yeah, my name's CW, whatever. I heard you. I'm like, oh, hey man, nice to meet you. I want to host. So the guy goes, yo, you Pat Oates? And they're like, oh shit, that's Pat. And then I'm like, oh, I'm Johnny Rizzo.
Yep.
I'm this old thing they didn't know is still around that they've heard boogeyman stories of. But then there was a comic that I had known since I started, who I hadn't seen in years. And I walk off from doing my 5 minutes. And by the way, they hyped up. Like everyone else just gets brought up. Like, here's this nice guy. Mine's like, yo, this dude been in the game a long time. Like,
Which never helps at like an open mic or a showcase, because it just is like, hey, look, this guy who should have other stuff going on doesn't. Get ready to enjoy him.
Me, because then I lead with that, and I go,
I do
look,
too.
even when comedy's the only thing when you're real good at it, you just get acknowledged like he's the best janitor around. like if the big puke comes out, this guy cleans it better. He knows how to use Fabuloso. So it's like, but so when I walk out, this comic I know, Rob Santos, who I hadn't seen forever, it was like out there, and I'm like, oh shit, we hadn't seen each other forever, and we were both the last time we'd seen each other, we were both angrier, more toxic type people. And it was just so nice. I can look at his eyes, he's in mine. He just goes, I sense a calm. I go, dude, same here. And he's like, we're talking about like shit we've had to go through in life and how the last like 7 years. And we've had very similar things. Like, I'm not saying this to fucking say anything fucked up. I know we're gonna end soon, but when my pilot didn't get picked up by Compound, that did a lot to me. I was very proud of what that was. They had asked me to do it. It's not like I was pushing that. I was just a guest once. Next thing I know, you guys had me on 11 times in less than a year's fucking time. I'm on a lot. I'm asked if I want to do a thing. I put the thing on. The response is great. And I know like COVID happened and budgets and also whatever. Just maybe it wasn't there. But it was all of a sudden like for a minute, someone believed in something I was doing. And I didn't always get that. Like for a long time, I was drinking and yelling and making my own way. And when I wrote a book, and then the people that believe me in that kind of like fucking turned their back on me after the book. It's like whatever, because of problems in life. And then like the same thing with this compound thing, whatever. And it's like it helped me a lot to now take a breath, learn how to clear my mind, and realize these were just avenues I never knew were there. I still got great things out of the opportunity. I would never have met you if I didn't do those things. We wouldn't have this podcast. Good things come out of that. Clear your head, whatever. But still, part of me was always upset that went away. And the same kind of thing happened to Rob. He had a show. A woman kind of like stole the idea and sold it, and she was going to work with him and cut him out of this thing. And he had to go to like a lawsuit. And then once the thing all cleared up, nobody wanted the show. And it's like the same shit where he started like saying fuck it and started like, getting his mindset and then teaching younger comics, comedy, but the right path and how to find the right things. And the same kind of thing I was kind of doing with shit. So it was just great to talk to each other. And it was just like, it almost felt like when you see two old men who played chess in like the Central Park. Like at one point they like knew each other as being young guys, and everyone else is like, who are these old fucks? And they're just like, I'm just happy to see someone else is still in the game. You know what I mean? Someone else is gone. You're the only one who can understand my Vietnam stories. It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess I probably should. I'm happy I told that story now and not in case we have our next guest.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he coming on?
I haven't heard otherwise.
All right, so probably not be that. But either way, so overall, it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. I'm very happy with where my set is going. I easily did 45 minutes without even like going into all my shit.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just having fun. I've been bringing back some old shit because that's been fun. But like, because I told you that when I did the Stag, I listened to my first album. So there's two jokes I've been having fun telling again, but I'm telling it kind of differently.
Well,
I can now look at it as a different guy. It's coming up with new ideas and shit, but I have a ton of new shit too. So it's just been fun. So it's been fun stretching my legs. So I'm happy you're getting out there. I'm happy to see what you're gonna do and what I'm gonna do when we go to whatever. Where Albany? Where are we going?
That's in July. I don't even know.
That's next month. That's
we should figure that out. It's less than a month.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, we should figure out where we're going.
No, it's more than a month.
Okay, yeah.
It's in the 20s, whatever it is.
Well, we will figure that date out. Until then, Pat, tell the people where they can find you.
Don't look for me. I will be home. I'll be watching movies that people suggest to me. That's what I'll be doing.
And he'll be eating lots of Silk City hot sauce.
Oh, before you do that, I want to share this one. We'll do that. I want to share this one thing because this is ultimate me. I know you keep looking over there. I don't know what's over.
I'm just checking the time because we're at like 1:20, so I was just making sure.
Yeah, but I set up the next thing for
recording, and I've got space. We're good. We're good.
I set the next one up for now. We're not going to do another one. Okay. He's not showing up.
He 100% is. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Because that's what I do. Because if I believe in something, then it doesn't happen.
I mean, so that is why you're a comedian.
When the show ended, there was the one table that had four. I'm not saying younger women, but younger compared to the 90-year-olds that were there. And they are, I was joking around, but I saw them, and I also knew this is the only time I'm like literally, the place is right next to where I go running every day. I'm literally 3 miles from my house. So I was like so excited that the show ended early enough where it was still a little light out. I'm like, oh, good, I could just walk home. And like, didn't even think about like, oh, there's four younger people that seem to have a good time. I walked to each table, was like, hey, thank you so much. You guys are great, whatever. Not even putting two and two together, I might know who they are. I didn't think I knew who they were. So I just literally skedaddle. I fucking run out of there. And then on Instagram, I'm getting tagged in things like great show. And it's a girl that's been following me on Instagram who her and her three friends came to the show. I'm not saying she came there like to hit on me or whatever, but it was like, obviously there was a connection where I had to write, holy shit, I didn't even put two and two together. My bad. Next time. But I'm so like into comedy and then nothing else. I was like, if I run home fast enough, I can watch Highlander because I haven't seen that.
What if she's super into you? Or if she was even slightly into you, or if you had any.
What can I get her? What can I get her, Bobby?
No. I'm gonna say you.
That's us.
Well, no. I was gonna say you pulled off the greatest neg of all time.
I don't like negging.
No, but it wasn't even intentional. You did it accidentally, but you literally did that thing chicks love. Kim Kardashian just came out and was like, the reason she fell for Pete Davidson is he didn't show up to the after party.
Oh, really?
She wanted to see him and was like, where's Pete? And they were like, I don't think he's coming. So the next day she called the publicist of SNL and was like, can I have Pete's number? They gave it to him, and she sent him a text and was like, yeah, I'm pretty much DTF. And she used the words DTF. Nice. So you just did that at a small level.
But I also think that, I don't know, when I was on stage and joking with that table before, I think I was staring at the other ones.
Oh, that's even better, dude.
But I don't know, I don't play games. I just don't want to date anyone ever. But it was funny just to not even acknowledge them as human, and then run away. It wasn't about dating thing. It was just about.
No, I know. It was just.
I'm too old for any of that ever. I'm just gonna be an old curmudgeon.
I was just saying you might have go gadget yourself the girlfriend there, where you try to do one thing and the opposite happened.
Well, that's my whole life forever. On stage now, I'm saying that. I go, I've never actually flirted or asked anyone out. I literally, someone meets me and goes, now we live together for 2 years. That's my relationships.
Nothing wrong with that.
But if you're going to live with somebody and you're going to propose, don't buy a ring that's expensive. Buy them Silk City hot sauce. You get that on one knee, you throw up a bottle of Nightmare going, that's what this is going to be, baby.
Yeah, let's
fucking
ruin
nightmare.
our lives.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to be like in the sack? I'm going to be like a badass Jew. Look at this here. I'm going to be cheap with that pussy and no one else is going to
We're
have
going to fuck through a sheet.
it. Just like
The badass
Bob
Jews.
Biggerstaff does with his song. Doesn't Bob Levy have one now too?
I don't know if Levy has his own. I know our good friend Rob Saul has his own Bloody Mary.
Right, but I think they all do. I think Rob Saul does. I think Ray DeVito. I think everybody does.
If you keep talking back, you're going to be Bloody Mary. Rob Saul's version.
Is that what he says?
No,
I thought Rob was gay.
I was just making a joke.
Is he gay?
I was riffing with the marriage thing still.
No, I know, but is Rob gay?
No.
But that's just a joke they
He
say.
was married, his wife. Yeah. It's because he looks
Oh.
gay. He was married, his wife fucked his cousin or something.
How do you look gay without a dick in your mouth?
I mean, he has that metrosexual thing going on.
He looks handsome. That's
Too
gay.
handsome. Too handsome. He puts too
That's
much
gay?
effort in. Yeah.
What? George Clooney's not gay. That man's handsome.
I'm guessing he sucked a penis or two.
No way.
Of course. Yeah.
George Clooney, shut your mouth.
That's why
Shut
his
your
hair
mouth.
went gray.
Yeah, because he's Salt and Pepper Fox.
No, because the dick jamming his tonsils fucked up the.
My beard's got gray in
Skin.
it, you fuck. I'm gonna
That's
beat the
different.
shit
That's
out of
beard
you.
hair. That's different.
That's cum then. That's what you're
That's
saying.
from being so funny. When you're so
That's from
funny,
the
it's from
jizz
talking
chin.
and making people
You
laugh.
got me,
It's-
jizz chin. By the way, I hate when people have black and black beards and then they get gray in it, so it looks like cool, like charcoal. But mine looks like a fucking like a rash. I don't like red with the fucking thing. Anyway, so get Silk City Hot Sauce. POS stands for my name, whatever, by the name of the show, whatever the fuck it is. You get, I think you save 50%. I don't even know if it works anymore. Jeff is
Maybe.
great and Jeff supports everything. I don't even know how that works anymore. None of you fuckers are buying sauce. Buy sauce. Prove to me it works.
Yeah, that's how we'll know.
No wings after the battle. Bobby.
If you can't join them, beat them, and don't beat.
Oh, and watch my another show. I probably watch the putting in the work. There's 4 episodes up on the YouTube. There.
Yes, that's right. Pat's been putting in the work, so put it in your YouTube and listen to it.
Your uterus.
And if you can't come to the Dunellen Theater Thursday, and if you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.